Ubisoft ultimately decided that the video game was worth pennies, basically. I'd like to talk about Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. I played the original Mario and Rabbids. It was a very interesting collaboration. It's something that most people did not expect that Nintendo would do. You know, they licensed out Mario to a whole new property, to a whole new developer, and that's actually kind of unprecedented. Now, the original game, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, I think it was, did really well, like understatably well. In fact, it was so well received that, well, Ubisoft decided that they were going to make a sequel. Now, the sequel, I recently got the opportunity to play the demo because during Summer Games Fest, Ubisoft decided that, maybe we should have put a demo, which thankfully they've done now. So I hopped in. Now, before I say my thoughts on Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, I would like to say why I didn't bother picking up the game. I knew that they were going to be DLC. I knew that there was going to effectively be a gold edition that would be released probably a year and a half later. I also know that this video game was going to get deeply discounted probably in a few months. And while I wasn't 100% correct, the fact of the matter is that Ubisoft started this trend and I was able to get the first Mario plus Rabbids with all the downloadable content, with all of the DLC for $20. Why am I going to pay $60 for a game I know that I can get pretty much very cheap much later down the line? I'm able to save that money for a release that I need to play day one. I did not need to play Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope on day one. And I'm guessing that a lot of other people didn't want to play it on day one either. There was just simply so much else going on. There's not no fault on the developers themselves, but simply how the market is. Ubisoft ultimately decided that the video game was worth pennies, basically. When you have a property that large being worked on by, I'm fairly certain, at least 100 people across multiple studios, $20 isn't really going to do a good return on investment, would it? That's why I didn't bother to pick up the game. Ubisoft finally released a demo, so I played it. And the reality is, it's a much better game than the first one. It built on all of the fun things that the first one did right, and really honed in on that battle style. I really do like tactics type games, and this game really does turn it up quite a bit. I really do like the fact that you can just run around in a range, and then you perform actions, and you can perform those actions wherever you are, as long as you don't, fire your weapon. And you could do it, you could use it to traverse the map, you could use it to, perform multiple actions and really line up your enemies so that you could hit really hard. And that's something this game does really well. It's satisfying to annihilate enemies, it's satisfying to tactically annihilate them. There's something that a lot of tactics games just don't get right, where, sure, yeah, you have tactics, and you can use said tactics, but, it doesn't feel like a tactics, which is very odd to say. But there's a lot to unpack here. Even in the short demo, I was able to have a lot of fun with it. And, a lot of that comes down to the collectibles as well. There's a lot of stuff to do, and there's a lot of stuff to collect. And I had a lot of fun solving a lot of the overworld puzzles. They were very simple, but they were very satisfying to accomplish, to solve, and to unlock new things. I think one of my pet peeves throughout the whole thing is the fact that the game has everything needs to load constantly. Doesn't matter if you're in a menu, it doesn't matter if you're in-game, you're in the overworld, or in a battle, everything has to load. And I can't tell you how many times I pressed a button and it loaded the menu, and I had to sit there and wait for the menu to load and then to load back out into the game or into the overworld. But the bosses are very nice. The bosses feel very menacing. The game features these spark type things, and it allows you to provide elemental properties to your characters, and you can mix and match them. And I had a bunch of Goombas in a single stage at one point, and I used Rabbit Rosalina's weapon with the flame elemental, and it lit them on fire, and then they managed to, light everybody else on fire, and I completed the stage almost instantly because she just fire connected to everybody else and I annihilated them. And that's some really good attention to detail, and it's very clear that there's a lot of chaotic randomness that could happen as a result of these mechanics, and I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that, Ubisoft. I have to say that, for all of Ubisoft's faults, they did really well with Mario and Rabbids, and it's a shame that I just don't feel the need to purchase it right away. Even having played the demo, I feel like, I know I'm going to get a better deal on this game later down the line. I know it's going to be released for $20 or $30 with all of the DLC. I don't have to pay this amount of money for it, It's not a matter of emulation. It's a matter of, I know Ubisoft is going to discount their properties. That's the problem. And now I saw that there was an article where it wasn't Shigeru Miyamoto. It was a representative from Nintendo spoke to Ubisoft regarding the poor sales of Sparks of Hope and told them, the experience is already there on the platform, and you didn't really make something that was too out of the ordinary. Well, what I mean, it was too similar to Kingdom Battle. And having played the demo, I can say that if you haven't played Kingdom Battle, jump into Sparks of Hope. The story isn't much to follow. You can just follow that on a YouTube video. But I am telling you that Sparks of Hope is a much, much better game. Right? It improved on every single aspect, from the story, the voice acting, the overworld. It truly is a great game. It's unfortunate, though, that I know for a fact that Ubisoft does not value their property. And as a result, I'm just going to wait until it hits bargain bin prices, even though I personally know that it's worth a good amount of money. But I'm not going to pay for it at full price. And that's the danger of putting your games on sale so quickly after the fact. Now, whether or not it goes on sale on a much deeper, whether or not it actually goes on a deeper sale, well, we'll just have to wait and find out. But I do think that you should give Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope a new attempt. I think it was a really good effort from Ubisoft's side, and I think it is a genuinely fun tactics game that anybody could get lost in. And that's it for today. Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you very much. Please feel free to drop your comments and let me know what your thoughts are. Also, what else should I cover? If you can, please subscribe. And I also have a Patreon if you'd like to help support me. Maybe get some behind the scenes stuff as well. We're working on all of that. Thank you all very much for listening. The Void called, and you answered.